is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great day. There are a lot of different ways that you can do a card business. Which one is for you? What do you want to do? In the age of YouTube where I and others make content, it's easy to wonder, man, I want that. That looks cool. Maybe I want that. And you can have a lot of trouble ironing out what it is that you want to do because there are so many different options out there. And that's what I wanted to talk about today is, what do you want? Do you even know what you want? Have you ever sat down and really thought, how far do I want to take this? And card business aside, what do I want in life? What do I want in general? It's okay to sit down and just draw a battle plan of what you want and your goals for the next 2, 5, 10 years. So we're going to talk about that, the type of businesses that you can run and other things. So before we do, if you don't know who I am, my name is Bronzgod and I sell trading cards on Tcgplayer and eBay. We've been averaging about $40,000 a year in sale, mostly in bulk. We are looking to exceed that by the end of the year. In addition, we have 2 other channels, one for weight loss, one for gaming. Links to both of those will be in the description. We do have a growing list of affiliate codes as well, with Misprint being added to that list. So if you want to save a little money, I can make a little money, and then we can both win. So I know, at least for the card business, what I want to do. I want to own a store. It has been off and on a lifetime goal of mine. One of my favorite periods of my life was peak Friday Night Magic. This is probably 2000, 2002, 2003. It was great. The shop around our area that was the most popular on a Friday night, you'd have 40, 50, 60, 70 people. I mean, some nights it would get cranking. 10, 12 pods of draft going on. There was this old plasma TV, huge, like 50-inch screen TV in the back, and this old, disgusting couch that the owner, I don't think, ever cleaned. And it housed all the anime nerds. So there would be this whole anime night in the back. They'd be doing their thing. Everybody would be drafting. You'd have some like Warhammer or whatever the Warhammer equivalent was for that time on the other side. It was just a great time. I met a lot of my lifelong friends there. I honed my sense of humor, and a lot of me was built in those couple of years in that room. And I've always wanted to recreate that, especially nowadays where a lot of people are a lot more online, post-COVID, where that stuff was shut down for quite a while, where you couldn't do that. And at least with the Magic community, and I know Pokemon as well, but especially with Magic, there's such a the tournament scene is arguably much bigger. And not that Pokemon doesn't have a big tournament scene, but PTQs, RQIs, when they did the Grand Prix and stuff, like it was just so much bigger in scale, in my opinion, than Pokemon. I want that. I want to be able to hold those tournaments. I just want it. I've talked about it before. There's a store in Florida called Cool Stuff Games. Similarly, there are other stores like Star City Games, Troll and Toad. I want to have a store, and very similar to what Rob is building. I know he said he doesn't want to have multiple places, but I want to have a store that is a storefront, a warehouse in the back, and the Burbank Sports of cards. Burbank Sports is a huge, huge, huge warehouse. They literally have every single card for every single player of every single era of every single time. They do everything. That's what I want, and I know that's what I want, and I'm perfectly okay with it. That's why I do things slightly different than a lot of people. That's why I don't churn through my bulk as fast as I can. That's why I'm okay with going a little slow. That's okay. That's why I don't, haven't fully jumped on the Sort Swift bandwagon I don't mean that to sound around. I don't mean that to sound bad, but I'm okay with just selling on TCGplayer and eBay right now and experimenting with Misprint. I'm okay with not having my inventory completely overlapped and listed everywhere. I'm doing fine with what I'm doing. I'm growing slow. I'm good. But you have to ask yourself a question. What do you want? You have your side hustle where you just buy and sell a little bit, make a little extra money to do other stuff. The side hustle can also be used as a collector to just grow your business. And when I first played Magic, that's how I funded playing Magic. I would make a deck, whatever deck I liked, play it for a while. New deck comes out that I like to see. Before my cards lose too much value, trade those cards in to get the cards I need. That way I'm spending very little money to make sure I can still stay in a game that I very much appreciate. Because Magic can get crazy. Magic is not like Pokemon. Pokemon, you have 4 copies of the same card, but they just look pretty and prettier as you go. You got your base common, then you have like your EX, which I know is a different card than the common, but you have your EX, then you have your full art, then you have your special illustration rare, and then even you have a promo sometimes. But all those cards, with the exception of the base one, the EX, the SIR, the illustration rare, they all have the same rules text, all 3 of them. That's a bonus for that game. So it makes the barrier to entry to play very little. Magic's not like that. You want a deck, it's going to be $500 to $1,000, and if next week you want to play something else, it's probably going to be another $500 to $1,000, especially now. So getting into that buy, sell, just to be able to simply survive playing a game that you like is perfectly fine, and that's where channels like mine and others can help you out. You can learn how to take advantage of selling your bulk, or you're learning to take advantage of where to sell your cards. Perfectly good option. Then you've got someone next above that, which I would say is right between owning a store and that, which is you want to have a business, but you don't want to have a store, so you do it all online, which obviously at any point of time, this is probably the easiest way to do that, or the more beneficial time to do that, because there are so many platforms that you can sell online. You don't really have to have a brick and mortar store anymore to have a successful, thriving business. There are plenty of eBay sellers like Lugia's Den. You've got Micah, the owner of SwordSwift. All these guys have their own versions of physical stores, hybrid stores of being online and IRL. You have just solely online stores, which is what Lugia's Den does. You have huge companies like the Gaming Co. and all these other places that they don't have physical stores, but they just do massive, truly churn and burn sales online to where they're doing 6-7 figures. And that's perfectly fine. Now, there are pluses and minuses that come from that. You can still get distribution when you're online. You don't have to necessarily have a brick and mortar store. But when we get into the situation where we are now, where everyone wants to get into cards, if you aren't already established, you're probably not going to be getting one because so many people are asking for it. At a certain point, to help kind of pump the brakes a little bit, they will usually require, or a lot of them will start to say, hey, if you don't have a brick and mortar, we're not going to be able to get you anything. Just kind of is what it is. Then you've got me, who is, I want a store. I want to have people come in the door. I want to operate the cash register and provide customer service in a particular way. The whole community-driven around your area, run tournaments. That's always been what I still like. Even talking about it just a little bit ago, it's got me like, God, I just want this so bad. And then you can even go a step further than that and like started getting into the distribution side of things, like an Anon TCG, or can't think of the other guy's name, but there's all sorts of different ways to be in this side hobby and be in this business, and none of them are wrong. But because I'm human, sometimes waver in that. Sometimes I falter and go, man, I don't know if this is the right way to go about it, or maybe things are going too slow and I don't know if I'm ever going to get there. And you can't do that. You can, but you got to pull yourself out, because I watch plenty of people where I start to get in my feels of like, okay, maybe I'm doing things wrong. Maybe what my goals aren't the right goals to have. And I'm telling you that if you have a goal of what you want to do, go for it. If you don't know what you want to do, don't put a lot of pressure on yourself to figure it out, because you got time. You just have to be honest with yourself on the goals that you want to accomplish and the amount of money you want to make and the amount of time that you want to put into this. Use those 3 ingredients to help kind of guide you to where you want to be on the map of selling trading cards. This is a fun hobby. This is a great hobby. This is a great business. There are a lot of good people out there. There are a lot of great people to deal with. And I want as much of that as possible. That's why I want a store. There are plenty of people out there that sell cards that are not very personable people. Their sense of humor is that of a brick, and they probably shouldn't be anywhere near the general public. That last part I'm joking on, but you know, we're a bunch of nerds here. There are some very closed off, nervous, you know, haven't been outside a lot people that just don't have that conversation ability, and that's perfectly fine. And if they want to own a store, they can, but a lot of times those types of people end up kind of going towards the online route, and you got more people who have a more outward personality owning a store, and it's a whole big melting pot of ways to do this. And I implore you that if you've never thought about it, because you may not have, you might have just started selling cards and it is what it is, but if you've never thought about it, what you truly want, I want you to pause this video or finish and then sit down and just give it 5 or 10 minutes and just close your eyes and say, what do I want? And if you don't know, do it again tomorrow. And if you don't know then, do it again next week. But it's something that I would strongly suggest maybe spending the 5 or 10 minutes every day, every couple of days, thinking, what is it that you want? And then go for it. And that can change. You're not on the hook. If you decide you want a store and the next week, you don't know, that's not on the books for me, boom, fine. And you don't have to shoot for a store right away. If the store is what you want, but you want to work your way to it, you can set yourself goals. You know, in 6 months, I want to have X dollars in the bank. In a year, I would like to have some amount of sealed products, and I want to be doing a rip and ship. Setting goals along the way to your ultimate goal is important. Something I haven't done for a long time, but I do now. You know, at the beginning of the year, we're going to start an LLC. By the end of the year, I would like to have at least $10,000 to $15,000 in cash in the bank, so that way we can start this whole actual business thing off the right way. In 2 years, I would like to have $50,000 to $60,000 saved so I can potentially quit my job. That's the timetable I've given myself. If it happens sooner, great. And I haven't really come up with any other goals than that, and that's okay, you know. But ultimately, there's no wrong answer. You just need to think about it a little bit and make sure you have some kind of guiding light, because you don't want to just be meandering around like a fish with no direction. You want to have a direction you want to go in, and you want to make sure that whatever direction you're going in, you have people around you to support you, and you have amazing content creators like me to help you along the way, especially if it's in the cardboard world. So let me know in the comments, what is it that you want? Do you want to just do a side hustle? Do you want to have a cardboard emporium where you have hundreds of people walking through your door and running tournaments? I would love to hear what your business plans are. And if you need some help, if you want to throw your ideas out there, we do have a Discord. I'll have the link in the description below. So to join that, talk with us, a bunch of good guys, a bunch of good girls, a bunch of good everything in between. And yeah, hope you guys have a great day. We'll see you in the next one, and take care. Peace.